Welcome, everyone. Right now it's 10:33. It's time to start working with you. Welcome, English teachers from the state of Nuevo León. I am very pleased to be here sharing with you some information we have for you as teachers to work in the Nueva Escuela Mexicana with the new program that we are starting this year. Ms. Dariel Isondo and Ms. Judy Aleida Rodriguez send their very best to all of you and to have a very fruitful school year with your students. So it's 9/11, but not that same year, thankfully. This is our agenda for today. We're going to start talking about a little bit about the syllabus, the textbooks, the project books, some elements of planning, the stages of the methodology, a quick view of project-based learning, languages, some suggestions of projects, a sample of planning for first, second, and third grade. Then I think Miss Silvia Ernestina Chavez Palacios, is going to talk to you about what she has to share with you in the Google Drive she has. Isn't that true, Miss Palacios?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. But the teacher of first or second grade.
I can't hear you. Okay. And later on, we're going to talk about the didactic planning first, second, and third grade. Okay? So let's start with this. There's a new agreement, the 060823. And in this agreement, it states that in this school year, 23-24, all the schools in basic education, preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, and secondary school are going to work with the 2022 program, Nueva Escuela Mexicana, okay, in all the grades. Remember that there was a prior agreement where only first grade was going to start this school year, but it changed this last August. So each of these three levels and all the grades are going to be working with the program 2022 Nueva Escuela Mexicana. There's another agreement. The agreement is 080823, and it's an annex that is in the official newspaper from the government, okay? And there you have the synthetic programs of all the phases, starting from preschool, primary, and secondary, which is phase 6, okay? If you go to the official diary, official newspaper of the government, you won't be able to click on this right here, on this link, because you have to paste it in a Word, so then it will be enabled. It will enable you to visit, to get the information from the agreement. And in this case, from phase 6 to phase 6. Dear teachers, here we have something new, okay? First of all, right here on the left side of the slide, we have an icon. This icon is specially made for English. Every time you see this icon on one of these three collections of books for first grade, second grade, or third grade, you are in the English section. Why is this? Because the book says languages, and you know, colleagues, that languages comprises several disciplines: Spanish, art, English, a dialect as a mother tongue, and a dialect as a second language. So those have different icons. This is the one that has English, that English has, okay? So you will see it on some pages on book for first grade, and some pages on the second grade, and on other pages from the third grade book. Let me tell you something about, more information about this. Well, almost all the information available in these textbooks are written in Spanish. So that, I think that starts like we're starting to, this is slippery road. Why not in English? Why in Spanish? Well, the information is available only in Spanish, okay? I would like you to watch out for the spelling of the word English. It uses capital letters. You may encounter in this textbook sometimes the word English in not in capital letters, okay? So beware that the correct form is using capital letters, okay? For first grade, we have 53 pages of the book. We have 53 pages of this book, the one with the old man working with a plant, which is called an eken, okay? From that book, we have 53 pages from page number 214 to 267. On second grade, you have 48 pages. And let me tell you something about second grade. Right here. Wait a minute. Second grade, use the icon. And if you are looking for the icon on the pages, you might find that one icon is incorrect because they use the icon of art, and the content of the book in the textbook is about English. So beware of that situation, okay? Because if you're looking just for the icon, there's an error on the second grade textbook, okay? Just to take that into account, okay? On the third grade textbook, there's a difference in index, okay? In third grade, there are sections and they say languages, Spanish, and they put all the index of the contents of Spanish. Then comes art and all the contents of Spanish in the index, and in English as well. Also, there's a difference right there because in English, it's in both languages, English and Spanish, the subtitles or headings. In first grade and second grade, you won't see that in the index. You won't see that in the index. In the third grade textbook, there are very short paragraphs with two biographies of Mahatma Gandhi and Malala Yousafzai. In this section, it's in the section about standing out, putting your posture against violence like Gandhi and Malala. And this relates to the content 11 of third grade, okay? Content 11. Remember, there are 14 contents and 15 PDA, developing learning process. There are 15 instead of 14. Now, for second grade textbook, I already mentioned this, that has it on page 221, it has the wrong icon. It has the icon of art, but it's English, okay? In the first grade textbook, it has a lot of information about community problems, identity of English-speaking people. I'm sorry, but with this misspelling, linguistic diversity, that's all my fault. Critical reading, traditions, and literary texts. All that information you may find. And you may say, okay, Noemi, you told us a bit ago that all the information was in Spanish. Well, it's like una fuente de consulta, okay, for our students to seek information, not only from the web in English, but also if they don't have web in their houses, they don't have internet, the resources, well, maybe they can use this information that is available in the textbooks. Here we have, besides having the textbook, dear colleagues, we have project books. We have the first grade project book, the second grade project book, and the third grade project book. As in the textbooks, they are divided in 4 sections. The section for languages, the section for science and scientific thought, the section for societies, and the other section about sociedad y comunidades, something like that, okay? I can't remember right now, okay? So they have the 4 sections in each one of them, of the projects. Now, the sections are by fields as we know them now. Again, this project book is written in Spanish. There's a project here in the languages section of first grade about scientific information and journalism. And it deals with overweight and obesity. So we can work with our colleagues from Spanish and art with this project because it refers to a content we have in English that is content number 12. Now, you're going to tell me, Remy, wait a minute. What content is number 12? Okay. Remember that when I uploaded a file in the Redais Inglés, I put numbers in the contents and numbers in the PDAs just for organization, okay? For me to know where am I referring to? What content am I referring to? It doesn't mean that content number 12 has to be seen on the last months of the school year. This is up to you according to your analytical program, okay? And what you're gonna see with the rest of the teachers and your students, or the problems the kids decide to work on first, okay? Another thing that we see in this project book is an English-speaking album for cultural and artistic manifestations. Creative expressions of people, okay? There's one more related to an inclusive society, which is also for content number 13 and 14. So you can work 2 contents with this one project related to inclusive society. And there's one also about identity. The English-speaking album for cultural manifestations is, well, I didn't write down that. It's for content number 4 of our program, content number 4 of our program, okay? Then we have this is again for first grade, yes. The last project is specially designed for album of cultural and artistic manifestation, content 4, and it also states that when researching in different sources, please allow the students to search in English sources as well, okay? Or you can look it up first and give them the link so they won't, because we have to make some adaptations. Remember that not all the texts are suitable for the needs of our students. So we have to see which of the texts that we have already seen is suitable for the understanding of our students. The +1 of crashing that he told us. Not so easy, so they won't get bored. Not too difficult, so they won't understand anything. Just a little bit difficult so they can start thinking about it, okay? And learning, okay? For the project book second grade, we have opinions, a project that is about opinions and stands from newspapers and reports. This will very suitable for a non-violence campaign, healthy living, okay, which is in healthy living, healthy life is in content number 12, and non-violence, as you already remember, it's in content number 11. There's another project that is called You, I, and We, which are pictures reflecting other worlds, discrimination, and non-violence. That's another project. And the last one, which is for English, which is more suitable for English, is Preserving Languages and Its Characteristics. Of all the textbooks, the last project from the section of languages is very suitable for English, okay? But I'm not telling you that the other projects that are explained or sampled in the project books are not suitable for us as well to work as a community. Then we have the third grade. This is the third grade? Yes, this is the third grade. And here we have a lab book, okay? This is the last project in the language section that we have in this project book, which talks about social networks and their importance in broadcasting cultural and artistic manifestations nowadays. So they tell you to make a lab book. And what's a lab book? Well, we already know by the other program, a big book. What's a big book? Well, it's more or less kind of the same, but this time you have to do it in a cardboard and put it, divide it into 3 sections, and then paste things for the students to write information or to do pictures or whatever, according to the topic you're talking about in your project, okay? So this is the example of a lab book, okay? Remember, we have to work in teams with our students, all right? The lab book must be written in Spanish. You can use dictionaries or digital translator to support your students. This is said on page 110 of the project book, okay? It's not my idea, it's the book's idea. I know, in fact, that some schools do not allow students to use telephones because sometimes students don't use them correctly. They use it to bully other students. So if in your school, the case of your school is avoiding all cellular phones, well, you can use dictionaries, okay? Or if some students have a good level of English, they can help others, okay? There's also a theater play about a community problem that our students in English can do. Of course, it's not too long. That theater play will not be too long. It might be just of one scene, okay? Concentrate on the problem of the community problem to state the importance, the relevance of the problem, probably a solution in one scene only, okay? But with phrases in English. What about planning? Right now, these are the elements of planning. We have contents, the learning development process, which is PDA in Spanish, the textbook, the project book pages, we can include in the elements of planning, the project methodology, formative assessment, and learning activities. All these elements have to be in your planning. Now, there's no planning format. Mexico says that, then the state says that by Ms. Dariel Isondo also said it in a video conference she did last August, okay? There's no planning format. You are going to design your planning format, just take into account all the elements that are listed right here, okay? The stages of the methodology PBL. Well, we have 3 stages in project-based learning. Planning, which has three steps, okay? Action, that stage has 4 steps, and intervention has also 4 steps, okay? This is a quick view. I already uploaded this to the Inglés Live. You know what I do when I'm planning a project in English? I paste all this information I put it on the wall, okay? And I'm writing here and I'm thinking, okay, identification. What do I have to do in this moment, in this step? Identification. I read it, okay, and then I start thinking, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. Now, let's see, recovering. What do I have to do in this step of the stage? Oh, I have to relate the previous knowledge with the new content that is going to be developed. Okay, so I start thinking, okay, what activity can I plan to relate the previous knowledge with what I'm going to develop, with the content that I'm going to develop? I put it in Facebook Red Eyes, and I will put it again for you, because this could be very helpful, at least for the first few projects that we don't know by heart all the process. This can help us do a very clear project, okay? So right now in our meetings that we have in art with Dr. Mancilla, Juan Alberto Mancilla, and Fermín Gomez Barba, and the Spanish teachers that are here, colleagues of mine, Ms. Gaby, Ms. Aleida, Gerald, Mitala, Ms. Dr. José Luis Domínguez, and Dr. Rogelio Reyes. They made a sample of a project, but all of us got together and thought, okay, let's talk about one problem in common that our schools might have. And one of the problems is violence. So Juan Alberto Mancilla and Fermín, they spoke about in first grade preventing violence. That was the name of the project. And what was the product? Images and theatrical representation. Now, in Spanish, in first grade, the project was called Liberty Voices, building a community free of violence. And what was the activity of the product for that project? A theater activity. For second grade, I'm missing that section. Bear with me, please. I didn't get that information on time. For third grade, the project was called Intelligence versus Violence, and the product is a poster. And now, in our English, what are we giving you a sample of? For first grade, my project is called My Message to the World. For the students to say, my message to the world. What am I going to send to the world right now? What am I going to say to the world? Message in English with pics, pictures or drawings. It's all related to violence. Second grade, the name of the project, Violence in Family and School, and the product is a debate. Miss Silvia Chavez is going to talk about it soon enough. And for third grade, we have the project Raising Voices, Erasing Violence. And what's the product about? Well, they can do presentations, brochures, or videos. You let your students pick which one they want to do, okay? As long as they talk about violence in those 3 of the works that we have there. Now, this is a sample, dear colleagues. This is a sample of My Message to the World, the project oops, wait a minute. I need to change something in the mouse. Yeah, my message to the world. The product English message with images. Formative field, languages. Methodology, PBL. Time, I left it in blank because it could be 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It depends on you, teachers. It depends on you and the students' needs. The content is assertive communication in English to raise awareness and eliminate violence in families and at school. The PDA, Learning Development Process, retrieves from different text expressions of violence in families or in school. Cross-curricular topics. With cross-curricular topics, I mean to say what in Spanish is called ejes articuladores, okay? Ejes articuladores will be cross-curricular topics. In this case, with this project, the topics, cross-curricular topics will be cultural acquisition through reading and writing, critical thinking, and inclusion. Because if there's a situation of violence, it means that there are inclusions, things that you exclude people because they look weird, exclude people because they think differently from you, okay? So, first, planning. I am suggesting in this sample for the students to watch a video about school violence. It's already seen, okay? I'm gonna put the planning in Word on Facebook Red Eyes, so you will have it. You can adapt it, you can change it, you can use it just as a sample and make your own, okay? It's all up to you, okay? I watched this, it's like 3 minutes long, and it's perfectly understandable. It has only written letters. Noise, oral speaking, it doesn't have just written letters, but it's very precise, okay? After watching the video, you can ask your students, what seems to be the problem? Remember that I talked to you about the questions that we have to hook our students with. After watching, what seems to be the problem? And they are gonna say, oh, it's about this. But because they saw some of the words, they can feel more secure about their answers, okay? If they don't know a lot of English, okay? You have to write the ideas on the board. Try asking good questions loud, like, how do you think he feels? It doesn't say so. You see it in the image of the boy with the other students. It's about violence in peers, violence between peers, okay? How does his friend feel? Then, after that, you can, wait a minute, let me see, because I can see right here, there's a, then ask your students to watch again the video to complete by pairs in teams of 2 the following organizer. I am also going to upload the graphic organizer for you, okay? So it's all gonna be uploaded in Facebook Red Eyes, all right? Then, so I put my materials, etc. Then on my next activity, retrieving information in pairs, answer the following questions. What do you know about school violence in pairs? Does it happen in your school? What other types of violence can we see in our neighborhood? And we have here a letter size paper, which has 4 images and the names of those images, but they are not strictly the corresponding word with the corresponding picture. No, siree. They are scrambled. So the students have to cut and scramble and paste it in their notebooks, okay? And they are talking about domestic violence, cyberbullying, bullying, and I can't see the other one. It's, I can't see, I can't, too blind as a bat, you know? blind as a bat. After they finish that thing, they can socialize their answers, make a summary of what is being said orally or in written form from the student, so they can get the main ideas. And then ask another really good question. What can we do as a society to stop violence in schools? Jot down the ideas your students give you on the board or in the notebook of the students, okay? Now, the last step for the first stage is planning. And in this step, their students are going to get into teams of 4, of 2, whatever, according to the number of students you have, all right? And they're going to talk about products. What products are they going to make? What are the actions? Oh, we're going to research on this topic, violence in school. What time? What time is available? When are their deadlines? When are they going to give you the information they got from the research or investigation they did on the internet or in or the textbook, the English textbook, okay? Then now we're on stage number 2. We're gonna work here with vocabulary activity prior to reading. Before reading, remember that in reading, we have the pre-reading, during reading, and after reading stage. There are 3 stages for reading. And remember that it's not open your books and let's start reading. And these are the copies and let's start reading. No, you have to prepare your students for the topic, okay? You have to prepare them for the vocabulary, for the new vocabulary or the vocabulary they might find difficult to understand and they won't get the general idea of the text, okay? So do a match of words with their definitions: deprive, right, school dropout, spreading, isolating, that's a form of bullying, rejecting, I don't like you, or name calling, you nincompoop, like that, okay? Name calling, threats of punishment or gossip. Yeah, okay. So you can tell your students to match the definition with the word in English, or that's for one type of students. But if you don't have the same level of students, you can put like the definition and the translation in Spanish or the word, and then a picture of the related to the word, okay? For students to become aware of the new vocabulary they are going to see when they are reading it. All right? They can draw some sketch notes. This can be done in groups of 4 with the words from the list and paste them on the walls. Then they read the text, okay, about school violence. There's an attachment A for the reading. I'm going to upload it as well. Using the resources available in your community and school, research the following. This is time for hands on the student to work. What is violence between peers? What are the types of violence between peers? What are the consequences? How to avoid or eliminate violence amongst peers? What can we do? Okay. And on number 12, I send the students to the textbook page 214 to 218 languages, so they can read information about violence, okay? Now, on the another step is getting teams of 4, and with the information you got from attachment B, you got to complete from the attachment A, and the information you research, you can complete attachment B, which is a fishbone. And this is the fishbone right there. And there you're going to write some main ideas of the information you got from the reading, from what they research, what they know, to complete the fishbone, okay? Afterwards, now that we know a bit more about the problem, its consequences, emotions that appear, and some ideas of their own, or how to solve them. If students don't know about imperatives, now is a good time to teach them about imperatives, because they are going to use imperatives for the next activity, okay, for the product. hands-on time, hands. A drawing, a painting, a photograph with a message in English to stop violence. Organize how your team is going to make any of the above mentioned with the English message to stop violence. That's why I'm telling you to use imperatives in English, present simple imperatives. Students get together in execution. Students get together and start building and creating their first draft by teams. And any choices they give, they put on the first draft. Afterwards, when they are integrating, they can share their first draft to another team. Give them a checklist for a peer assessment, okay? It's in the resources and the formative assessment as well. So they have to put a check mark or not to the things they are doing good or they need to improve. I'm almost finishing, so Miss Sylvia Chavez can explain all the information she has. Publishing, students present their work to the school community. This is the other step. When the community finishes seeing the product, hand them an index card so they can write their opinions. So in my resources, I put index card for feedback, pens. Considering other opinions, read the follow-up and feedback from parents or students from higher grades. After they read the feedback, they start processing the information they got. They analyze it and they take notes for the next project. What can we do to improve? What happened on this? Did we get stuck in this part or no? You know what I mean? Okay. And there's a link right there of the anti-bullying squad, which is another video, also good for our students at the level they are of English. All right. It's time to share. I would like to thank you very much and appreciate your understanding and your attention. Let me pass the microphone to Miss Sylvia.
Hello, everyone. Hello, good morning. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Okay, Ana Rosa Dominguez, good morning. Saleiva, good morning. Mr. Ovalle. Hello, everybody. Hello, good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you on this morning of academic work with the topic didactic planning about violence in the family and school. And the topic, the product is, it will be debate. Okay. Okay. All of the class, you will start of class motivation. With your students, you can ask, how are you? How did you feel today? Ice break, what sport are you practice? And in a few seconds, in a minute, in each class, you have to ice break with the start of class motivation. Okay. First of all, I will explain the planning didactic of the second grade. The problem, it will be violence in family and school. Formative fields, language is the same that Miss Medellin explained to you. Okay, debate or panel in English topic, no more violence in family and school. What methodology we will use? ABPC, community projects based learning. The times, well, I wrote 12 sessions, but you can change the time. The temporality, you can change. What's the product? Infographic could be, posters, murals, violence, not violence in schools, in families, at the community. was the PDA, the PDAs of the Nueva Escuela Mexicana, assertive and dialogical communication in English to eradicate violence in family and in school. Furthermore, prepare arguments writing in English for the solution of community problems. Don't forget it, the motivation with your students in each class. How do they feel? And they in this small minutes of motivation, you can improve vocabulary in English each class and each day. Contest solution is of the problem. Remember, the school community and the community face problem in a family, school, and violence. The community grows and the problems grow. So it's imperative and urgently needed to address this problem in a collaborative and proactive manner among the participating actors, family, school, community. Learning process, debate or panel in English on the importance of assertive communication. Have proposals for action to eradicate, to resolve violence in this topic, violence in family and school. Okay, stage one. Stage one is the planning. Identify what is the problem you are going to resolve, or what's the problem you are trying to resolve. Okay, violence, the PDA is violence in family and the school. What the steps? The step is very important with the method ABPCD. Continue with the 1 to the 11 steps that you will try to continue with your students. First of all, identify the problem to be resolved. We can ask to our students to do a list of everyday problems. Could be personal, familiar, school, society, environment, obesity, bullying, domestic violence, violence in school, etc. Now we can make a list. We can make a list of what activities we are planning to eradicate the violence in school, in families. Use what strategies to find information about violence. Could be in a local newspaper or TV, on radio, etc. What previous knowledge of the subject violence in family and school your students have? And what action to solve the problems we can do to resolve this problematic? In this planning didactic, I select, and I will share with you seven videos that try this topic. You can find whatever you wanted, or you can choose another ones, but I would share you this that I found in YouTube. Next, that you identified what's the problem, types of the problems, you can plan what activities can be carried out to prevent violence. Okay, could be build healthy relationships between children and parents. Don't use alcohol and drugs. Don't use or firearms. Children and young people learn positive or negative behavior. From home, rules of respect and healthy coexistence in family. In each class, you can improve vocabulary. That's an activity, that's an optional activity. And you can use the dictionary, the bilingual dictionary. The second step is recovering. What pure knowledge do students have about this problem? Pure learning review, and you can show a video, so you can show stamps, newspapers, or local newspaper, or announcing about the radio, television, etc. You can make a list and how we can prevent violence in homes and school. Could be develop self-esteem and trust and respect among people, educate inequality, apply discipline and set limits, teach limits to children and young people, teaches to resolve conflicts, non-violence, with dialogue, develop empathy, educate intolerance. Students can investigate for most information about this topic. The next step is the planning. Okay. The project planning, what activities are proposed to develop and in what type of action to be carried out. Learning development process, okay, the process. In this time, you will explain to your students about the topic, the debate, what the debate is, what the debate to express opinion about violence and how to solve the problem. What's mean panel discussion? What is the definition, explanation? What is panel discussion? What does panel discussion mean? Can you explanation? What's the debate? What is the language structure? Well, the student can say, well, in my opinion, or I think, I completely agree, or in the topic that we are talking about it, your students can answer, I agree, or I don't agree, I disagree, or I don't agree with you. That is true. That is not relevant. That is not real. That's real or that's not real. This topic about violence is very important in our society, in our family, in our society. Your students can write short ideas about how eradicate violence in the family and school. Also, you can make a list. What's the new words using in this topic debate? Fact, opinion, result, proposition, evidence, affirmative side, oppose, revolt, consent, pro, can. And you can, in a formative assessment, you can say what type of evaluation you can make to your students. Could be oral practice, oral exercises, with evaluation simple or evaluation easy, with writing tests, with oral exchanges, or you can organize, say, the debate with your students in team or pairs. Use oral presentation, present the agreements or disagreement in the debate. You have to using the text to support students, because at the end you can evaluate the participation. Okay, what activities you can suggest it, or your students can plan in, students in pairs Your students expose the proposals to the collective of students. Okay. Another extra topic you can relate it with this topic is previous learning vocabulary. Okay. Okay. Stage 2 action. 4. The first step is approaching. Approaching, describe. Approaching. Approaching, describe, compare, and identify situation. Situation with examples of violence of home and school. There are a lot of videos in YouTube that you can share with your students. If you don't have internet in school, you can say to your students that they can go to home and they can see this kind of videos, and the next day they can share the ideas they show, because most of the school, they don't have internet, but most of the students, they have internet in homes. You can give to your students a list of the videos that we recommended. I with facility does this kind of work, and you will select what videos that you recommended to your students. Okay. Stage 2 approaching. Okay. Remember, in all the stage, you have to write the activities that you're the leader. You are working with your students. What kind of activities did you suggest to eradicate evidence? Evidence at home, evidence at school, or what's happening in the community? Recognize the type of violence. Could be physical, psychological, mental, etc. What ideas, proposals to eradicate, solve violence, and they have to live in the healthy coexistence. Okay, use a comparison chart of violence in family and school, etc. Okay, what kind of technique you can use with your students? We enlace the formative assignment with an space to debate with, okay, let me see, technicals. You explain to your students the technicals about dialogue, dramatization, read tests, with writing exercise, dictation. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, approaching. Next step. Okay. The comprehension and production. Comprehension and production activities to be carried out to understand and analyze the problem. The same topic. Activities to solve the problematic. Examples. The teacher will read the proposals obtained in the debate. The students orally learn the statement. Oral repetition several times. Writing on the blackboard sentences in English by the teacher. And the students copy the sentences, what the proposals to eradicate. I'm sorry. Okay, violence in family and school. And I suggest a lot of videos of this topic. What are we doing? Recognition. What activities are carried out to improve, to solve the problem? Most of this didactic planning, it will be very related with the topic of Miss Medellin explained to you. But this is in other plan activities because it's a debate, but most of the things are very similar, okay? Because it's violence, it's problematic in school, in home, in society, in community. Okay, recognition. What activities are carried out to solve the problem. The same thing. We can relate it with art. What activities? Okay, disseminate is very, very important. Disseminate in the school with the painters, with newspapers, with clipping, with a mural, elaboration of a mural, elaboration a newspaper of the team, stop violence, cartoons or painting of a mural in school, etc. I recommended could be a portfolio of evidence. The next step is stage 3 intervention, integrating. Integration, what activities and recommendations are proposed to resolve non-violence? Feedback with your students, with teachers, with other opinion, with the father opinion, what activities, no alternative to prevent violence. Okay, health and respectful relationship from the family is very important. Respect between children, parents, no alcohol and drugs, don't use firearms and sharp objects, contrast, advantage of the problems, violence. You can middle what will be better in this topic in the community, in the different classes that you have with your students. ¿Cuáles son las mejoras que usted ve en tus estudiantes en esta metodología? 9. Okay, spreading. This is very important. This step. Spreading around the community, around your school. How to disseminate the resolution of the problem, no violence. What's the progress? What's the progress you obtain? What's the achievement? Area of opportunity. Okay, could be poster making about the problem. Put on the walls of the classroom and the school. Okay, write a simple script about violence and representation of place. Could be a performance of short play, dramatization, play, activity, violence. Prepare the test. The teacher explained this technique, recurrence, voice, modulation, body language, okay, expressing during reading test, emotion, intonation, rhythm is very important. The actor must maintain eye contact with the audience. Students are actors, okay? Create a friendly environment among students, okay? Well, you can suggest, okay? Now the next step could be the 10. You can consider other opinions, okay? Promote the participation of all students. Promote project consideration. Action, activities, feedback, suggestions, obey, meeting. This is very important. Okay, it's very important to have dialogue or mediation in conflict of violence with family and school. I suggest could be an activity meeting with parents, offer a conference with a professional. This is topic. Other steps could be the 11. The 11, note of the next project. The teaching group select PDA to develop. Selection of the problem in the next project by language training field. It's very important that this academic field and all this material will be in red eyes. Okay, now I would like to share all this material in this meeting. It will be in red eyes. In this video is a video in the canal of YouTube in Red Eyes Nuevo León. All the questions you can ask to the platform of Red Eyes, and Miss Medellin, Miss Berta, and we will answer your question. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and I will give it to you. I will give it to you drive with a lot of material, with a lot of English material that you can use to prepare your didactic, your planning. You can choose a material. I will give it to you a drive. This drive contain a lot of like spectral learning programs, PDA program in English and Spanish, comparative program, phase 6, synthetic program, website in English, language book, language training field, digital resources in English, ludic activity booklet, synthetic program, didactic project planning manual, Spanish, evaluation tools, basic manual to learn English, the verbs in English, the didactic planning format. I will send it to you, the format in this drive, and didactic planning second grade that I explained to you in this day. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Ana Rosa Dominguez, it's nice to see you. Soleiva, Mr. Ovalle, the teacher of Stella Secundaria, Vicky, Denise, Margarita, Miss Sophie, welcome to this meeting. And I will share the drive, and any ask or any topic that you want to talk, it will be a pleasure to resolve your question. Any question? It was a very pleasure to see you. This is a new manner with a nueva escuela mexicana, with a PDA, how to relate it with the PDA with the topic of a school or community or family or school. This is a different manner, but we will, with the practice, with the practicas, we will enroll it. And please, all the questions, write to Red Eyes, and we will answer your questions. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks a lot. And I will share that drive. Thank you very much.
Welcome again, dear teachers. It's good to see you again. Now with some information for third grade. But before I start with this information, I would like to make a remark on the complexity of the learning development process for first grade, second grade, and third grade. First grade is a bit more simple, and second grade will be a bit more complex, and third grade will be a bit more complex than second and the first grade. So if we see in this context 11 that is talking about non-violence. In first grade, we retrieve information from text. That's the learning development process. retrieve information, expressions from from readings. Second grade, as Ms. Silvia Chavez very luckily pointed out, it's debate. Importance of communication and being sensible to the topic to eliminate violence. And third grade, which is of Berta Guerrero, was going to present this, but right now she's feeling under the weather. So she's sorry she couldn't make it right now, but I'm gonna present her work for you, is to design and transmit written proposals. So you see from retrieving information from readings to debating about the importance of communicating to eliminate violence, to finally in third grade, design and transmit written proposals. Another thing I would like to point out is that in the NEM, we are still going to foster listening, speaking, reading, and writing, okay? We still have the 4 skills. And let's start with what Miss Berta prepared for you for the third grade, violence in school and in communities. The project's name is Raising Voices, Erasing Violence. And the product, 3 things that our students can select, which one are they going to pick? Either it could be a presentation, a brochure, or a video. You know that our kids are very well informed about making videos and putting text and so all that stuff, okay? And the content is the same, but the learning development process is different. Design and disseminate written proposals in English to raise awareness within the community about the importance of eliminating violence. And here Ms. Berta gives us very good examples of what can we do in the different steps and stages. As the first stage, planning, identify, it says, initiate a discussion about the importance of addressing violence. Is it important to address violence in our school, in our community? What are their effects? Ask students to identify violence-related issues from their own experience in communities, which this is very useful. What resources does she give us? You can use research studies on community violence, news related to violence, and educational videos addressing the topic. That's a good idea she gives us. Now, a thing that I can add on to the presentation Ms. Berta made right now is, I found out Nat Geo, the webpage of National Geographic, and it has level graded readings for kids from 3rd grade to 12 years, from 3 years to 12 years. So they are simple texts, readings, simple readings that are very focused on the contents that we have in the new program. So that's an advice I am giving you to look up at Nat Geo, National Geographic. Okay? Formative assessment, well, Ms. Berta says, ask students to write a brief reflection on what they discussed in class about the importance of addressing violence in school and its effects. For the next step, recovering, encourage students to share their prior knowledge of assertive communication. Remember that they did this in 2nd grade? So what do they remember about this now in third grade and violence prevention? You can provide, she tells us that you can provide as a teacher, reading materials and resources to enhance their understanding. What are the resources? English textbooks on assertive communication and violence prevention, online academic articles, and informative documents on violence prevention. And for assessment, to apply a quiz to assess students' prior knowledge on assertive communication. For planning, assist our students in setting clear objectives and deadlines for each phase and moment of the project. Remember that I spoke about this. What activity am I going to do? When do I have to finish up and give it to my teacher or to my teammates so we can discuss it, so we can socialize? So you can make like a table, a chart with 3 columns and three lines, so you can put all the activities and when are the deadlines for each activity and who's gonna be responsible also for those activities. Now for the next one will be stage 2 approaching. Divide students into groups. Remember, teamwork. And assign each group a specific aspect of violent issue to research. Probably some will research on cyber violence, another will research on bullying, another will be researching on violence in domestic violence in houses, within their families, okay? Encourage groups to describe, compare, and identify significant aspects of the problem using resources, reports, stats, and studies. Okay, and then we go to the comprehension and production step. Ask groups to design and create productions to address violence, such as presentations, brochures, videos, or social media campaigns. Now she's adding social media campaigns. Ensure that the productions reflect an understanding of the problem, okay? What are the resources we have? We have English graphic design tools like Canva, English video editing, software like Adobe, okay? Evaluate the concrete productions created by the group, such as the presentations, but first give them a checklist or a rubric to what you will want to find in those activities, those products they are going to develop, okay? And here she mentions previously established criteria. How are we doing? Organize feedback sessions where groups share their progress and discuss challenges encountered. Foster assertive communication and the exchange of ideas. I mean, not all of us have good ideas, but probably we can learn from each other, from hearing another idea and then building up on that idea for our work in our team, okay? Then you can give feedback, English feedback templates, guides to providing effective feedback. I think that in our next session, we're going to address this topic, formative assessment. That's what I think, and hopefully we will present it to you because the new Mexican school is highly remarking about formative assessment. And I would like to talk to you about it in our next meeting, all right? Execution, groups should create the first version of their products and present them to the class. Provide constructive feedback, okay? Use to assess, what do we do when they present their material, their final product? we use evaluation sheets to grade the group presentations during this grade, during this step. Suggest improvements if necessary, evaluate the quality of the presentations and give feedback. Integrating. Invite the students to present and explain their products to the school community or a broader audience. This could be present to parents in our meeting, to school authorities. It might be the supervisor, the inspector, not only the parents, but invite all the administrators that are above the school that could also be there and acknowledge and encourage our students of their effort to do the work they are doing in English, which is essential. We have to encourage a lot of our students, okay? They may not be perfect, but they are getting there. They are making their foremost effort to doing a good job, okay? And then we have the step number 9, which is organize product presentations such as conference or fairs to share project results with the community, okay? So this includes making invitations for the events, marketing materials such as flyers and banners, and a website or social media page to promote the event for parents or administrators, high top administrators like supervisor or inspectors to go there. Number 10 will be considering others' opinion. Conduct feedback and reflection sessions where students analyze the feedback, receive and propose improvements for future projects. Encourage students to discuss the challenges faced and how to address them. What are the resources we got? We got questionnaires for gathering feedback, feedback reports, etc. Okay? And number 11, and the last part of this project, guide students to write proposals based on feedback on how they can apply these learnings in future projects or actions to eradicate violence. What do we need? Worksheets for writing the proposals based on feedback examples. Request students, this is the assessment, request students to present their plans based on the feedback received and how they plan to apply these learnings in future projects. Evaluate the quality and applicability of these proposals. This was the sample, the ideas Ms. Berta Guerrero shared with you. We are very thankful for your kind attention, and we would like to do this before we go. This is the QR where you can scan and register your participation and attendance. In the chat box, Ms. Lorena, who is an assistant of us, is going to write the link so you can copy it or click it on the link and start filling out the registration and attendance list. Or you can do it with this other link on option number 3. Let me remind you of something before we leave. This presentation, the video, complete video, will be uploaded in YouTube Redais, and it will be available for you for a long time. But there's a thing. For the attendance registration, you have to, for the persons or people who did not attend this meeting because of workload they have, and they're gonna see the video on YouTube, Redais Inglés, Redais Nuevo León, I'm sorry, YouTube Redais Nuevo León, they will have 2 weeks more until the end of September to register their attendance. It's very important, teachers, for you to register your attendance and to give us feedback, which is very, very well received, your feedback, because we're always improving ourselves, okay? We never should try to stop improving because there's always something there to remind me. No, there's always something there that we can change, we can modify, we can do better, okay? So we would like to receive your feedback on this. When you're registering your attendance, you're gonna see some questions about or related to this meeting, and try to give us all the feedback you can give because it will be very helpful for us. And we would like to thank you. Remember, you have until the last of September to fill out the attendance list. Tell your partners and colleagues that did not attend this meeting that they can watch it for 2 weeks more or the last of September, although the video will be left for a long period more, but the attendance is very important. In behalf of all my colleagues, of Miss Berta Guerrero, who I hope she's doing well, and on behalf of Miss Silvia Ernestina Chavez Palacios and me, I would like to thank you and have a pleasant day, and hope to see you on Redais Inglés for any questions or asking for material. Goodbye.